Outstanding. On you today.
Good morning, fellow riders. Today we have a special guest, Tim Mitchell, in. He's one of a longtime friend. He's known me since I was about this tall. You guys are watching Raw with Roadbloc. Let's go ahead and get this kicked off. Welcome for today, Tim. Thanks for joining us. How you doing this morning?
I am well. It's truly an honor to be here this morning. I know you tried to get me once before, but God knows. He always knows how to make a way, right?
That's right.
So let's rock.
So how are you doing this morning?
Doing fine. Doing
Yeah.
fine. Making some transitions, getting back to work, and getting used to that night shift schedule. But
Oh, yeah.
missing that ride. Since you sold me that Road Glide, I sit there and started up in the garage in the wintertime and just let it make noise.
Just let it run.
Just gotta let it run.
You don't
Yeah.
hardly look at that gold wing no more, do you?
Well, now let's talk about that. You made me move one of them outside,
Uh-oh.
so you know she's not happy being out in the cold right
Not
now.
happy.
Not happy. But yeah, it's truly a joy. I've been riding a long time, and as you know, and you do miss it, right? And,
It's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. I haven't been able to ride much at all.
yeah,
Through the winter here to the snow and stuff, and it's snowing again this morning.
Exactly. I have a tendency to help my neighbors. My uncle lives up the street from my house. So when it snows deep, I get that snow blower out and I just walk up the street and throw snow everywhere. I put my snowsuit on and my motorcycle helmet. So,
Yeah. So you ain't got to listen to it. Keep your head warm.
keep my face
Yeah.
dry. The mist don't blow in the windshield in my shield, and I just keep getting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a joy. Yeah.
So you got you said you switched back over. Were you still at Toyota?
Yeah, I'm back at Toyota. I'm still on the military side with the reserve out of Fort Knox. So we're back to monthly drilling now.
Okay.
So I was on there 5 years active duty in Fort Knox before going back to Toyota. So I've got 25 years at Toyota and 27 years in military service.
Thank you for your
So
service, Tim.
yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it any other way. I tell people all the time I joined the National Guard in 1997 to help little old ladies out of the snow. Yeah, and I've had a joy doing that. I was able to do the ice storm in Owensboro.
Yeah.
Handed out 300,000 meals and 300,000
That's helping
bags
a
of
lot of
ice. Oh yes, it was amazing for Guard to do that. At that particular time, the governor, when they called us out for a national emergency, we had to knock on every door
people. Oh wow.
in the city of Owensboro and the 7 surrounding counties.
Check them out. Make
Just
sure everybody's
do a
all right.
health and wellness check. Oftentimes, people fail to realize in this weather, in the snow, some even were trying to run the generator in the kitchen.
Oh no.
Yeah,
The carbon monoxide poison and stuff.
the guys knocked on the door and said the smoke come rolling out, and they just pulled the people off the porch
Oh man.
because they had been in there for a couple of days doing that. And it truly saved several people because they were doing the same thing. And you always get those people who will never do right. So one couple had a generator in the back of the house. They laying in the bed. All of a sudden, it gets real cold.
Oh no.
Somebody took a lawnmower, started the lawnmower, and stole the generator.
Start.
So yeah, you're gonna find some people that won't do
Little
right.
switch
I
and
tell
bait
you.
on 'em,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, that's
Man.
it. But it's been good service.
And then how
It
long
is.
did you say you was in the military?
27 now.
27. now.
Yeah.
And then how old was you when you first enlisted?
I was 30.
30 when you
Yeah.
first. So you got a late start. Not
Late
like a
start.
Late start.
Yeah, late start. It was one of those things I always wanted to see if I could do.
Yeah.
My dad he was a Korean veteran. He had one tour and 2 tours in Vietnam. So he was a lifer,
Yeah.
and Big Daddy, William Evans, my godfather.
Yeah.
When I was little, I was about 10, 10 and a half. I went down to his house on Grant Drive, and he said, boy, let me tell you something. It's going to work just like this. He said, as long as your father's in service doing his job, you're going to go with me. And wherever I go, you go. So that's where that started with the coffees.
Yeah.
And I've been with him ever since. So he was like that. And then as I grew older, he told me, he said, son, let me tell you something. He said, on my table, my coffee, on my dining room table, I had a letter that said I was 1A. And he said, in the event that he left the house, he would have been drafted also. So, like I said, I've always been raised in the shadows of good men.
That's good.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means a lot.
What'd you do before the military?
Well, I'm actually down to Kentucky State for most of my time. I've actually volunteered with Kentucky State for about 33 years.
What'd you do down there?
Worked with athletic department.
Okay.
When I was in middle school, I started managing for the athletic
Oh, that's
department,
pretty
working
neat.
working with the equipment, putting the helmets on, and
Yeah.
making sure that the face mask and everything worked. And I suited those guys up. So I had an opportunity to work with Cornell Burbage, Dermontti Dawson, which was the highest paid lineman in the NFL, and Mark, and Mark he's amazing,
Yeah.
you know, because Mark got to play with several teams, right? And I think he was 49ers and Miami, Bengals, and several teams. So it was good to work with those guys, and we just had a good time when we were doing it. So I was 17 when I graduated from high school. So I go down to Kentucky
17.
State. Yes, sir. So I go down to Kentucky State, and the manager down there said, he said, I didn't understand. You came with your own little kit and everything. I said, yeah, Oscar, I've been doing this for years. So I did.
You came ready.
I came ready. Yeah, because that was just part of what we did. And yeah, to see the athletes that I work with turn out to be great men in the city of Lexington meant a lot.
Yeah.
You know, because we had a lot of great athletes come through here. We called him, I think it's Howard Williams, came out of Winchester.
I don't think I know that man.
Yeah, he was a great fullback back in the day, and he wound up going to Kentucky State, and he went on. He's down to Toyota with me. So you know, we've got a lot of athletes that were great in their high school times and the days, and even college ball. They didn't make it to the big show, but still good guys.
Now,
Yeah.
did you have a motorcycle back then that you rode?
Oh man, like I told you, when you all were riding as young fellas, we
Right.
did the same thing. So my dad bought me a bike at 13. We
13.
running around the street and thinking we the wild hogs, I guess. We the motorcycle club, right?
Yeah.
And
13
and
years old. What kind of bike did you have at 13?
a little Kawasaki KE 100.
A little
Yeah.
two-stroke. huh?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then Tim Evans had when Big Daddy got his bike, he got him a YZ80. So I swear we was running around like wild hogs.
A little two-stroke,
Right,
smoking up the city.
Right. William Paul had a 125 Yamaha, and Cigar used to chase us home. So a funny story. Philip Cigar was a policeman in the neighborhood, right?
Okay.
Well, we didn't understand how he knew where we lived. So we go over to Winburn and we ride around over there and
Yeah.
just talking to people. And here he comes with the police car, jumping off the football field in the car and landing on the ground, chasing us down through the field. So when we get home, here he comes. Tell your daddy if we ever catch you again, I'm taking you straight to jail.
So where did y'all live at this time? It wasn't out on the lane, was it?
It's
No, okay.
on Grant Drive.
Okay, so it wasn't that far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here
Yeah.
right off of Russell Cave Road. And we were just in the neighborhood. But we didn't know that Cigar had rode with the Lexington Barons when he was younger.
Yeah.
So he knew who Big Daddy was. He knew exactly where he lived. I said, how'd he find us? So
He had your number.
Oh, had the number. Yeah. And it was a wonder if he hadn't called already.
Yeah.
So, you know, growing up, like you all on the lane, you were always under somebody.
There was
somebody
I was watching everywhere.
always.
It was you, Ronnie,
Exactly.
Granddad.
Yep.
Somebody was always from the start of the lane to the back of the lane. Somebody had eyes on us.
They always.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that you needed that you didn't have. So that is my grace in knowing that as you come up, you always are accountable as men for your family and family around you.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how far you'll go because those relationships have never changed. Yeah.
We ain't strayed too far apart.
No, not at all. Not at all. So see, that's where we started motorcycling even as teenagers. So you know, Big Daddy used to take us down to Ohio Valley every year when they did Derby Day.
Derby
you know, when
Day.
they had we call it Black Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't race horses, we run horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to go down there all the time and just meet people and hang around, watch the races. And as we grew older, clubbing started to come next, right?
Right.
It's just like, okay, well, we want to start a club with our friends.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it stems from. Yeah. Well, I was always raised under motorcyclers. Yeah. So that's where the love came from.
So most of those men were in the Barons, right?
Yeah. Originally, let me see. As Dad tells me the story, 1967,
Is this the origination in 1967? That's when the
67.
Barons were born.
That's when they
That's
were
okay.
established and born.
Who was one of the founders of the Barons?
Well, there were several.
Okay.
I'll have to get that old picture for you. The first president was Brother Odell Moss
In
in
1967.
67.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Odell Moss. Big Daddy was the younger member, and he was the road captain, right? And that's Billy Evans. And then you'll have Sonny Scott. You know, he was actually, they actually had a flanker and a road captain. And what's that? What's the other one's name? Horace Miles, some of the older ones, right? Carl Carroll. And the oddity of, again, the shadows of men. I used to work for Carl Carroll at General Electric. Never knew he was a Baron.
Didn't know it.
Didn't know it. You know, because like I said, as the men got older, either they stopped riding or some of them just died out. So as far as our club, it was the first one in Fayette County, right?
The first. It's a black club, right?
Well, then it was not.
It was not back then
No,
when it
no,
was
no,
first
no,
founded.
no. We had two Caucasian members that were brothers,
Okay.
so it wasn't an all black club.
Okay.
And I learned a lot from that, you know, because the way Dad said, see, most people fail to understand, like the AMA, we had to have kind of like a BMA, because back during that time, they would not allow blacks to come into an AMA rally. They would say our Caucasian members could come in, but you all not welcome. So those are the kind of things that Dad went through. So he had a little. Sometimes they just had a hard taste.
Yeah.
You know, because what they had to do then is, like you said, the field meet. You know, they would do a field meet out there on the lane and invite everybody that they knew. But see, wasn't no cell phone
No.
and Facebook.
Not
so
back then.
Yeah, they would call people up on the phone, and then they would actually come and participate. So when you look at field meets like that we have,
And you guys have one every year, right?
oh yeah,
When is that again?
it's usually the first weekend in June.
First weekend
Yeah,
in June. Okay.
and we do it in the same place.
Yeah, right down there. It's
Right
been
at
there
the
for
end of the lane.
years.
Yeah, used to be, and when you see the peacemakers from Richmond,
Yeah.
some of the older ones,
Yep.
they remember.
Yep.
Yeah, because they used to come all the time, and they'd get their own little spot down in the bottom where William them's cars are, and they'd have a great time.
Yeah.
But,
It's always a good time.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is, and that was the joy of who we were as a club, and still are, because like I said, I still have Big Daddy still living, William Johnson still living, of the originals,
Yeah.
right? They still own their motorcycles and ride them when they want.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed that, and people often ask, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? I ask him, because the thing about motorcycling now is our young people are at a point where they can afford a Harley, right?
Right.
Full dress CVO, probably even two of them.
Yeah, we got easy payment plans. You come in here, sign your signature, social, and you most of the times walk out, ride out on them.
And ride out.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't understand where we came from as an organization, as a club, the camaraderie and the brotherhood.
Yeah.
We didn't. The only thing those old guys used to compete on is best dressed. Now, if you look at the Kentucky Screaming Eagles out of Louisville,
Okay.
1960, the reason they were the Kentucky Screaming Eagles is because the Screaming Eagles already had that name, right? So oftentimes when a club started, they actually started through their state. They petitioned for their LLC, right? Their incorporation. And they used to say that you always had to have 5 to start a club.
Yeah.
If you look at an LLC, it had 5 members. And that's one of the reasons they always said it took 5. You know, you'd have your president, your secretary, your business manager, your treasurer. I think is another one that I can't remember right off. But that's how you started. When you actually created your patch, you trademark your patch. When you trademark your patch, it has a certain right to it as well,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of how it started. And if you notice, most of the older clubs, if you look at them, they had a one-piece patch.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any rockers on it.
Right. No, don't talk about them.
Right. You see, Dad and them's original patch was blue and white, and the top hat and everything was on it. But that's the way it's always been. So we've never tried to change that patch because that's originally who we were, and that's still who we are.
Since 1967.
That's right. So that's what I enjoyed about it because we were in another club. Some of cousin Pete and some of us.
Yeah, I know Cousin Pete
Yeah,
real well.
yeah.
He's been
We
around my whole.
That's right. We tried to do Circle Forward one time.
I remember that.
We did it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was nice. But as we grew and some of us grew older, they chose different paths.
Right.
A lot of times I tell people the brotherhood's from the heart in motorcycling. But like I said, the colors are for the club. It tells you who you are and who you ride with. But there's nothing like the brotherhood of riding a motorcycle. Uh, I've been able to I've covered the whole 48 and met people all over the United States.
So you're a ground pounder.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was ground pounding, chasing rare breed.
Yeah.
So my cousin, we call him Diddy. I think the first time I went to Los Angeles, we were going out to Rare Breeds dance. Yeah, their mother chapter dance. And each year I'd pick up another set of states. And again, like I said, you can go anywhere in the world and meet a motorcycle rider and shake a hand.
Yeah.
But I tell people often, when you meet somebody, meet them with a smile and shake a hand, and they'll smile back
You
at you.
give respect, you get it.
That's how you get it.
Yep.
So I've had I had an opportunity to meet 99s and 1%.
You ever run into anything bad going along the way? A couple
No.
sour apples, anybody with attitudes?
No, I had a Mongol one night, no colors. He's riding in a car. Met me in Jackson, Tennessee, and was talking to me, and we had a good conversation. I pulled out my map and showed him how to get to where he was going. And he rolled on. But the same thing, HA. I met HA. What do we call it? Little Sturgis.
Yeah, Little Sturgis. I bet that's a blast down there.
Oh man,
That's a blast.
if you all have never been to anything, go to Little Sturgis. It is truly an experience. Okay, be mindful. If you're a churchgoer, yeah, be mindful.
Yeah.
Because Little Sturgis is different.
It could get pretty wild.
Little Sturgis is different.
All the things you want to see, and
Oh,
some of them you don't.
Oh yes, yes. It was funny. I was a captain down to Fort Knox and in my unit, and come to find out, my specialist was Little Miss Sturgis. They said, "Sir, do you want to see the pictures?" No,
No.
I don't want to see them pictures. Take them out of here. Because, like I said, some of them pictures are more than you need to see. But yeah, I've never been anywhere where you find disheartened people. Right, the situation is easily changed, but go with God. That's usually where I tell them when I ride with a Bible and a AAA card.
Yeah.
If I can't pray on it and they can't tow it away, we're gonna be stuck for the night.
That's
Yeah.
that's a good saying.
So
I'll
that
have to remember that one.
yeah, so that's usually how I run, and I run alone a lot, and oftentimes they say, well, why you ride that way? I said because when I'm on that interstate, I don't hear anybody upset. I don't hear curse words. I don't hear anybody talking about somebody else. I just hear music,
Yep.
and I ride,
Looking at the scenery.
looking at the scenery.
If you see the world's largest ball of yarn and you want to stop, you can stop and look
I can
at it.
stop.
Nobody else is gonna say anything about it.
Oh man, and then those places that you go to. I stopped in Dodge City in Kansas, right? Wyatt Earp and his crew. The largest meat processing plant, I think, is Dodge City. They said there's 300 or 400 trucks come out of there every day,
Holy cow!
and they still have the original Old West City stood up so you can walk through it and see it.
Like the dirt road and stuff.
The dirt road, the old houses, the saloon, everything. It's set up just down the street in the park.
That's pretty cool.
And you can walk through it. And then you learn that the longhorn steer came from Spain.
Right.
It
it's
didn't
not
come from Texas.
No.
The Hispanic cowboys bought them up through there.
They were disease resistant. Some other
Yeah.
stuff. I remember reading into it
That's
when I was
it.
younger. Yeah.
That's it. So you find a lot of different history when you ride out. I talked to an Indian in South Dakota, and he was telling me about when they put the monument up, and then it was supposed to be the birth and the agreement with the West, right? but it has the presidents on it.
Yeah.
Geronimo and the other guys never made their face up on the mountain.
Right. Now they got,
So-
was it Running Horse or something like that? They're working on it still.
Right. And was it Geronimo? You have to leave Mount Rushmore, go down the hill, and then his statue's around the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was some good history, and also just learning about back then it was the Lakota and the Nakota, and how they were put together. One of them were hunters, right? One of their tribes was hunters. The other one were fishermen.
Okay.
So when we forced them together, they couldn't even speak to each other because they spoke two different languages. And we don't understand the hardships that made, even with the Indians. So sometimes as you go through the different cities and different states, you just stop and talk to a few people.
I love to talk to people.
Oh man, it's amazing at the stuff you pick up. But yeah, I've enjoyed riding. Yeah.
What's one of your most favorite places that you've taken a ride to?
The most beautiful place to me is Utah.
Okay.
Right? So the boys pick on me because of how I ride. Sometimes when they sleeping, I'm still riding.
Yeah.
Right? So I left home to go to Vegas for Roundup. I forget what year that was. So my first leg was Oklahoma. Right?
Stopped in stopped in Oklahoma.
I slept in Oklahoma. I left like 6 in the evening. It was 114 degrees outside.
Oh man.
I get to New Mexico. It was 36 degrees. Yeah.
114 to 36. You
Yeah.
got a little sunburn going on. So by the time you get to Mexico, you wore out.
I got my snowsuit on.
Yeah, you got your snowsuit
I got my
on. Freezing
snowsuit
to
on.
death.
Freezing to death.
Yeah.
So you come down off of that elevation and going into Arizona, and it was amazing, the difference. So now it's about to 100 and something again, and you're racing across the desert. But you go out 40, and then each time that we would go out, we'd pick another route back. So I come back 70. When you pass through Utah, brother, it is
Painted desert.
Oh man,
Is that Utah or Arizona?
oh man, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It looked like the Grand Canyon when you just pull off the interstate, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing like the view, and if you've never done it, it's nice to do it in a car. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's nice to do it in a car, but there's nothing like doing it on a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, because you got the open air
Oh, it's
all
so-
around
oh,
you. You're not
man,
looking
it's
out a
beautiful.
window or out a sunroof or
Yeah,
something.
and then the downside is I went through Denver at night.
Ah.
So same thing. You're running good. It's 80, 90 degrees. Then it's 24 degrees.
Ooh.
So when you travel that elevation, I think it's like 26,000 feet.
It's up there.
You look to the left and there's a mountain taller than the one you're riding on, because you can see the shadow,
Yeah.
right? The bike starts going ooh. So the higher the elevation, the thinner the air.
Right.
So you barely rolling, and
Just you ride the carbureted bike at this time, right?
fuel injected.
Fuel injected still run like that?
Still do that
Huh.
because it takes a while for that fuel injection to catch up with that air mixture.
Right.
So same thing, 36 degrees, and next thing you know, you see a sign that says Aspen. I said, wait a minute, where am I? Aspen, Colorado? I said, that's where they do those ski jumps.
Yeah.
So then you get another sign that says Viejo. Oh, Lord of mercy. I'm up here where the Olympics does the ski jumps. So yeah, it's sometimes, you just ride, right?
Now, when you're riding, do you use a GPS or do you use a paper map? How do you like to navigate?
I usually use I've got Waze on my phone now.
Yeah.
So I usually just use GPS.
Okay.
I carry an atlas, just in case I
Right.
want to go, if I need to move off a main road.
Sometimes you don't always have cell phone service.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, boy. I tell you, there's been several times in several spaces that I run for hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's always a watcher, right? So Tim Evans be on the phone, and he's on the computer. He said, man, you better hurry up because I was going down through Louisiana one night. He said, you better hurry up because the rain's coming. I said, too late. It's already here. So yeah, I usually have watchers, right? They can see me because I usually check in.
Yeah.
So, and I share this with just about everyone. Being a soldier, I'm funny about people traveling, right?
Right.
So I always tell my daughter and most young ladies, when you travel, always use a truck stop or a larger fueling facility.
Well-lit area.
Well-lit area, and always look up at the camera. When you look up at the camera, there's a timestamp. So I look at it from a standpoint of a radius.
Okay.
You can only move so fast, so far, and so much in a distance of time, right? So use your credit card. Something ever happens, we have a way of looking for you. That timestamp should say if you stopped here at 1 o'clock,
right,
and it's been 3 hours since we seen you last.
You're in this radius.
That radius should show.
Yeah.
So even 85 miles an hour within that time, it'll give us somewhere to look.
Yeah.
And I promise you, we're gonna come looking.
Yeah.
So I've always done that, right? And Bingo Brown was one of the members that made it's a patch called Have Iron Will Travel.
Yeah.
He requires you have 27 states before he gives you the patch.
Have Iron Will Travel.
Have Iron Will Travel. And what we look at is when he's at his house, he can see you if he knows you're out there.
Yeah.
And he always covers down on you. And he had a bout with cancer, I think, years ago. So it allows him to be still integrated with all of us. Yeah. And he's been a blessing too. Because
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What'd you say his name was again?
Bingo. We call him Bingo Brown.
Bingo Brown.
Yeah, he lives in Louisville.
Yeah.
And there was also Highway Smiley.
Smiley.
Yeah.
The ground pounder, the smiles.
Everybody knows Smiley.
It's the only way you can get the ground pounder patch.
That's right. He was one of the members. He's still a member of Kings of Cali, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he works a longshoreman or something like that. But his riding, I think he started out, he wanted to see all of the stadiums, football stadiums.
Okay.
So I don't know how many times he's covered the U.S. But I've seen him and met him a few times as we pass on. I ran into him in Cleveland. I think we ran into each other in Kansas.
All over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Him and his wife, they get on a motorcycle, and they're all over the United States. And they enjoy riding. And all you got to do is call him, and you'll catch up with him in the interstate somewhere. Somewhere. Yeah, I tell you. So, again, those kind of things you can't reproduce. The brotherhood of a motorcycle is nothing. There's nothing like it in the world. Yeah, you can do fraternity stuff. You can do, but somewhat like the military, we know who trained us, right?
Right.
So once you get that first motorcycle endorsement or that first motorcycle, you'll always be able to communicate with somebody else.
Just like you and your boys back in the day. You still friends with them?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. And we used to talk about, even with Circle 4, it was a circle is something that can never be divided. And even they go 1%, they go different clubs, I still go to them.
Cousin Pete just lives a couple houses down the road.
Exactly. So those are the kind of things that I cherish, right? In the city of Lexington, I have a blood cousin in every club. So I don't argue with family.
Right.
So whatever we do it as family. I don't care what color they wear, because one day I'm going to need them, and any day they can call me.
Any day.
Any day, because that is really what helps us get together and do what we do. Because one thing about a motorcycle, it will break. There's a trailer at the house connected to a truck. Just come get the truck. Yeah. And and that's something that I cherish, right? And as you can see, motorcycling in Lexington, you've done it a little bit, and you understand what's going. It's growing. There's a lot of young ladies riding motorcycles now.
Yeah, there's starting to be a lot more ladies riding.
Yeah, and I'm still chivalrous, right? Chivalry's never dead. Sometimes we put it up every now and then.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, their mothers, their sisters, their daughters, their wives, and at no time do you leave them behind. So I'm real funny about that. They always tell me that, but who cares? That's just me. At the end of the day, they've got to go home, and those children have to be taken care of.
Yep.
So if we got to go, same thing. Get the truck.
Go
pick them up. Yeah, go pick them up. And it's just how I run. Yeah, it's how I run. I've been so thankful. I've done funeral rides, for people, and escorted people who've passed on. And the way I've done it, I've always I'd put a Facebook message out, that we're going to do this person at this day, and I pray, because I don't know who's coming. It might be one, it might be 21. might be 201.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my way. Sometimes we have to pay respect to fallen riders, or if a family requests it, right?
Yeah.
So we've tried to do the best we can. I have older members, so sometimes I can't pull them older members like I used to pull the younger members. The regulators, boy, they used to come out. Boy, we'd have a good time.
Yeah.
And when they first started, they were escorting the funeral rides, and the police were working with us. And as young men, you know, they've always had a good time doing that.
Yeah.
And me too, because you just never, you never can understand when it's going to be your family member or somebody's going to be riding for you. So, you know, what are you willing to do?
You got to take care of the community.
Yeah, yeah. So we do that, and there's been other clubs around town that's been feeding communities, feeding the community, and that's been a helpful thing as well. You know.
I think was it 5 Strong? They just fed the homeless not too long ago.
Oh yes.
It's a small club. They reaching out and doing stuff for their community.
Well, and see, out of one come many, like we talk about. You know, somebody may come from another club, and then they develop a club that makes it even stronger, right? So Lady West always likes to feed the homeless during the holiday season.
Right.
So as you can see, I don't know if you actually had a chance to come out this time.
I didn't get to this year or last year. I was working both times.
Oh man, she pulled everybody out.
Yeah.
So all of the Lexington clubs support Lady West in supplying whatever she needs to the best of our ability, so that it can go well. So they handed out hand warmers. We handed out hats
Chilies,
and gloves, everything.
all kinds
Chili.
of stuff.
And as I'm on here, I think I need to actually thank Chipotle.
Yeah, I seen a bunch of meals they had.
Yes, the social club came out, and that young lady provided a mass of food for the homeless, and they really appreciate it, because we don't know why people are homeless, right?
Mental illnesses, just other things you don't really know. You don't really know what people's going through.
Right.
You stop and talk to them for a minute,
and you'll be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You really will. You know, I knew a lady that was actually homeless, and she would receive her retirement or Social Security check, and she would put it in her a post office box at the post office right there where the courthouse is, the federal courthouse. So, but, you know, that was for her safety, she said. You know, because one of the things that they look at when they're homeless, they don't want people to take the opportunity to rob them.
Right.
Right. But as to why she doesn't want to be in a brick and mortar home, it's not for us to decide. We can just do the best we can. And also, you have to protect them as well, because there's a lot of children that like to harass homeless people. So as motorcyclists, we do the best we can to provide security for other citizens.
The community.
Yes, yes. And that means a lot to me. So, as you know how I do things. You've been around me a long time.
Yeah, a long time, quite a while now. Like I said, I was about 10 years old when we met the first time. 36 now. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, the Lexington Barons, you know, we used to do we still do. During Thanksgiving, we pick families and we provide dinners for them.
Yeah.
We used to do a couple of dances, but now we usually do just the larger field meet once a year. And we got a few new members now. And they want to get out and do a few things, so they pulling me out the house.
Yeah.
So we've got to do a few things like bike night and stuff like that. So we'll be working on that.
So how many members are in the Barons now?
The last time I counted, I think we had 15.
15.
Yeah, 15 good ones. And
it's pretty strong.
Yeah, especially for an older club.
Right.
You know, and oftentimes they talk about bringing them and guys, I've got guys from about 45 to 80.
Yeah.
Right. And they ride when they want to ride.
80.
Yeah. Norman.
You said something about the regulators. WD. He's pretty good age.
Yes, he is. He actually got his life patch, and again, like I said, with the Lexington regulators, they had a bunch of young men in it, and if it's anything to do with kids or helping the community, when I called them guys, they showed up.
Yeah. And
we have a great time. Also, you know, one of the older clubs here is King Cobras.
King Cobras.
Right?
They've been around a long time.
77, 78.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I hit it on the head. And what people fail to realize is they had a clubhouse. See, Dad and I, we've never run a clubhouse, right? But King Cobra's clubhouse has stood since they started.
Same spot.
Same spot.
Same spot right
Same
there.
spot. Yeah, and they actually have that whole corner lot, and for each one of us, Lexington, Louisville, and anybody who's visited, the door's always been open for them. So, I always ask that everybody respect their clubhouse
Yeah.
and treat it like it's yours because they've always opened the doors for us. So I used to, as a kid, about 13, 14, I used to watch them ride off down Winchester Road, and then you on Friday, and then they'd come back Sunday. And first thing I said, when I grow up, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
So that's another passion. That one of their presidents was Captain Ike Hart. Captain Ike Hart was a policeman in Lexington. So of the members, they had like two policemen. Some of them worked at IBM. They worked at the city, but all of them were working class men.
Yeah.
So Captain Ike and my mom actually were raised on the same street. It was called Ellerslie Avenue. It's gone now, and they've tried to rebuild homes on it. But to share this with you, when I missed the school bus, my mother would call Captain Ike on the phone, and he would take me to school in the police car. So people would see me pull up in this police car, wonder why I was in the back. Yeah. What's he doing in there? But see, again, that was that kind of stuff that our parents knew each other, right? and that means something. You could call and whatever you needed, somebody could cover for you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons the King Cobras actually lasted the way they lasted, because with him being an officer in the city of Lexington, he always kept order. You could bring your steel, but the steel go in the saddlebag.
Yeah.
It don't come in the clubhouse.
Don't go in the clubhouse.
So that's the kind of thing that I have a problem with right now. Leave your steel in the saddlebag, because when you come into a house, there's family in there, right? And you don't need that with family. If you have an issue in a clubhouse, what you're supposed to do is talk to the president or the sergeant of arms. If you still have a problem, then something needs to be done, right?
Yep.
So you have to use the officers for the position that they hold to maintain order in your space. If you have disorder in someone else's space, they'll do that in your space.
Yep.
So far, most of us, again, I'm so thankful for Lexington. I don't know about anybody else, right? But in Lexington, we don't have those issues.
Right.
And
everybody gets along with everybody.
They do.
You got Cobras on Monday night.
That's right. That's right.
You got Hypnotic on Tuesday night.
Exactly.
Wednesday night is Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Thursday night is
Hypnotic.
Yep. And then Friday night is Cousin Pete and them.
Yep.
Yeah,
and like you said,
everybody hangs out.
Right. We one of the things I talk to people about. I don't wear 1%, so I don't talk about 1%. Right. But I have cousins in there.
Friends.
If they need me,
Yep.
they can call me.
Yep.
And I'll be coming to get you, just like I'll be coming to get everybody else. Because at the end of the day, we all got to come to Lexington.
Yep.
And we got to come home.
This is our home. Yep.
This is our home. Yeah. And everybody stands tall here, and I've been, that's the big stuff. And L's changed over, right? L is a big brother. I'm going to tell you. I went down to Nashville one night in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So it's about 3 a.m. I'm getting ready to turn around and come back home. So L looked at me in the face. He said, well, no, that ain't going to work. I said, L, what do you mean? He said, what you're going to do is go upstairs and get a room like everybody else, and I'll see you in the morning. So you have to understand what respect is. If a man can look you in your face and tell you something, and he was a president just like I'm a president, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
So I called my wife and I said, well, I'll be staying here tonight.
Had to put the call in.
Had to put the call in because oftentimes, like you said, I try to get to the motorcycle function. I try to get to church on Sunday, and I definitely got to make it to work on Monday. But in doing so, when you hold an office, members should respect other members as well, right? So if he's got a rider out of pocket, I just go to him and say, hey, look, don't do burnouts in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Why? But why, man? No. There's a reason for this, right? something happens to you, then I've got to pick you up and go call your president and
Right.
tell him, hey, this is going down. I got him. But then the next question is, did anybody see it?
Right.
Yeah, I saw. Why did you do something about it? So those are the kind of things that you have to respect. So I laugh at L every time I see him. I say, yeah, you're the only president that made me stay at a hotel. So I don't fool with those hotels. But yes, you know, those are the kind of things that growing up under other older men, right? When we take our place as men and as presidents, we have to make sure we cover the younger ones. And that's what we do. You know, that's what we do. Uh, I've never seen anybody that really wouldn't do the same, right? And I find the joy, brother. I find the joy. And you know, also our stores, you know, we come here at Man of War and it's home,
It is home.
right? You can go to any other place, but when you're used to being at a store that's yours,
Right.
all you ask is for what you need, and you guys have provided it. I've had 3 Harleys from you, and my daughter learned to ride 883. Lauren still rides when she wants. Some days I'll tell you, that's like pulling teeth. She's riding the parade now that she's a girly girl. You know,
We've
but-
got a parade coming up here in March, the St. Patty's Day parade. If you want to get in on that.
super.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is let us know. I
Sorry to
have
cut
some.
you off.
No. I have somebody pull something out now, so that'll be good for us.
Yeah.
And you know, even in rides, let's go to rides. 1% Caucasian side, right? Whenever they have a cancer ride, and we know we in, but whenever you need them, all you got to do is call them, and they're gonna show up. I've never seen a day that the children, any child that needs representation or support, 1% doesn't come out, and they come deep, you know, and I've really been thankful for them. You know, they've been a blessing. Yeah, they really have. So that's another thing I enjoy, because there is no fence when children are concerned. Yeah, there are no divides.
We just
Yeah.
had a nice little fundraiser for Grace, and we were able to bridge the gap. They had raised some money.
Okay.
And you know, remember in January we had the fundraiser?
Yeah.
So we were able to bridge the gap and help Grayson and his mother get a handicap accessible van. The
Outstanding.
peacemakers come in and stuff. It was a
Yeah.
great event. It felt great to be able to help that family out.
Outstanding. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what means a lot. I was talking to one of my team members last evening, and he said they'd done a ride out of Pike County, and one year they were coming for the Shriners and all of the money and stuff that they earned to come out of
Yeah.
there. But also we want to remember Pike County right now.
Right
They're
now
having
it's-
heavy flooding.
Yeah.
There's been 9 deaths that I'm aware of.
So far.
Yes, so far that I'm aware of. And one of my team members, her mom's business is under 8 foot of water. So, you know, it may not be us, but as you bless your meal, as you bless your family in the evening, please remember those families, because it could be us at any given time.
Any given time.
Right. So, yeah, always think about that, because, you know, we've got a lot of people from Eastern Kentucky that work down at the plant. You know, when coal sort of slowed down,
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
the
of them had to
factory
come
work.
up here. Yeah. So, you know, I count them as family too, because we couldn't do what we do down to that plant and manufacture the automobiles without them.
Yep.
You know, so that means a lot. Kentucky, the Guard coined the phrase of unbridled spirit.
Right.
As a Kentuckian, they say we fight as Kentuckians, but at all times we have to stand up as Kentuckians and help one another. Yeah, so that's one of them things that I got in the Guard for, and I cherish that pretty good.
Have
Yeah.
you heard anything about getting activated for the floods or anything like that?
Well, I've been slow, because see, now they changed me over to federal side on reserve.
Right.
They can't call me like they
Okay.
can the Guard. That's why I miss the Guard so much, because Governor Bashir did call out an all call. So he actually called it a natural disaster. So there are guardsmen actually working. Yeah, they're working now. And I'm not quite sure exactly where they placed. But please remember this, just so citizens know that they hear the podcast. As a soldier, as a guardsman, we can clear the roadways, right? And it's not that we don't want to go help in a yard, but there's legal issues with doing that. We cannot go into private property.
State property is
Right.
no big deal.
Right. We can clear roadways. We can help those in distress. We just can't go onto someone's home and try to help them cut trees and things.
So people need to help their neighbors.
Yes, they do. They do. And like you said, we're here to get you there, and provide a means to get you out. But people just sometimes we're hearing in the news that FEMA didn't do this or the soldiers didn't do this. There is a certain degree of legality that we cannot do certain things. With FEMA, it takes them a few days to get there, but I promise you they're coming. I promise you. And there's always there's an Army organization that follows these storms. That's their main job.
Yeah.
They follow storms. So that's how the governors and several of these dignitaries and politicians that we have are alerted to these things coming. So the information is shared.
Yeah.
It is shared. But as you said, please help your neighbors. But main thing is be safe. Really be safe, because it's hard to put yourself in a bad situation.
You can't take care of nobody else if you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly. And oftentimes with water like we're having now and the floods in North Carolina, when a line is down, electric line,
Mm-hmm.
in water, it has the capacity to travel through you and anybody near you.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when you see that the police has a blockade and they don't want to let you through, that's why.
Safety.
Yeah, just safety, and always safety first, right? Because the same thing, I always talk about Kentucky family.
Right.
We always want Kentucky family to be safe, right? So that's my sales pitch on that today. I told you I wear a lot of uniforms and a lot of hats.
A lot of uniforms, a lot
of
hats.
hats. Yeah, a lot of uniforms, a lot of hats. But there's so much that we can see out of our state.
Yeah.
That we're doing okay. I salute Governor Beshear and all of his activities, right? And through COVID and everything, because we've lost a few riders and things over the years, especially during COVID. And you can look at the post, and it's throughout our state alone, as well as across the world. And about a lot of the things that he did, we didn't like it. The biggest one, I couldn't go to church on Easter. Doggone it, that hurt me pretty good. Yeah, so when it first started, that was a crusher for me. But as we waited it out, I was a little happier at the outcome. We still here, brother. We still here. Yeah.
Well, so we'll get off the subject. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in Eastern Kentucky and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. Like you said, you got to get out and help your neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
But is there anywhere you got plans to ride this year?
Well, I've got a few of them that really was talking about mile marker 0.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah. And then
you've been there previously?
Oh yeah, I have. And I cheated.
Cheated?
Yeah. So when it says the southernmost point of the state,
right?
I went inside the Air Force Base and took a picture behind the buoy.
Yeah.
So I cheated. Yeah, I cheated. But then I think we had a couple of riders said they wanted to go to Sturgis for the first time. So we may look at that and see if we can get out there and see how the other half does it. Because, Sturgis has been around 70, 80 years now.
And it's not that far away.
No.
It's not that far away.
No, but most people, you just got to think about it. Once you cross once you cross the river going into Iowa, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. But it's a fun ride. Yeah. Wow. You see a lot of corn growing.
A lot of corn.
Yeah.
The windmills and whatnot.
Yeah, you do. And when you cross over through Illinois and you see the casino, at least you're halfway. And those are the things too, is the landmarks. After you've done it the first time,
you remember it.
Yeah, you remember it. You can't wait to see it the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a couple I think we're gonna strive for. Yeah. So slow but sure.
Mile marker 0. And
Yeah.
then Sturgis. I'm dying to get up to Niagara Falls. I want to go up to Niagara Falls, and then once I get up there, I want to ride over into Maine.
For real?
Hang out in Maine, and then I want to tour on my way back down. I want to tour the New England colonies.
Yeah.
Along the way and stuff. Hit Rhode Island, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Just hit all those colonies, all those smaller states up through there and stuff.
Yes.
I feel like that'd be a blast.
Do Niagara Falls. You can do it on Saturday,
Yeah.
right? Go up early Saturday morning, and by the time you get there, it'll be dark, and then you'll see the falls with the colors
With
and
the
the
lights and all that stuff.
Next morning, you just wake up on a Sunday and get it in. Uh, it's a great weekend. I think we went across Pennsylvania Turnpike when we left uh, Niagara Falls, and we went into Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. We come back down 95, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Boston. So we did that the year that they had Darlington's Roundup.
Okay.
It was like we had 16 states in 6 days, something like that. And I had drama. I wrote. I'm gonna say it this way. I rode with the Fantasy Queens and drama them. Lord have mercy. We had a good time. We had a good time. And yeah, we went across, man. And I mean, Maine is beautiful, especially if you spend a little time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we call it state chasing. We'll cross over the border, take a picture of the sign, and
Right.
claim the state. But sometimes you truly got to spend some time
Right,
and ride through the
right.
state. So sometimes,
Appreciate it.
yeah, if you see my post, I'll go into a city and I'll go to Main Street. And I'll go through Main Street and I'll go downtown. And I'll call it strolling.
Just check it out.
Yeah, just stroll through the city. See what it's like, you know. Depending on what side you come in on the interstate, you can get the whole thing.
Right.
You know, and Florida's a pretty state when you get down through there, too.
Lots of straight, flat
Oh,
roads.
man,
out that way.
St. Petersburg and that bridge when you cross over. Oh, it's absolutely
Put in
magnificent.
some miles down there.
Yeah. And they flat
Yeah.
and hot. So, yeah, I enjoy Florida to run in. But I still say the prettiest skyline to me is Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Coming off the hill.
Over the hill.
Coming off the hill. I've been, like I said, I've been as far as Washington State and some of the other states, but there's nothing like that coming down the hill.
Now, I'm hoping to get out to Washington State at the 1st of March. I'm not going to get to take my bike out.
Okay,
Me and my
I got you.
stepdad's going to go out. We're going to drive he got a new Toyota car.
Okay.
So we're going to leave here, and I think we're going to go around the 1st of March.
Okay.
We're going to film an episode here.
Right.
We've got a guy, Cheyenne, who did the Hoka Hay. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk with him, do a podcast on it, and then
Okay.
that afternoon, I think we're going to hop in the car. We're going to head out towards Yellowstone. We're just going to the trip is not to go this place or that place. The trip is just to drive.
Oh,
so
good.
we're
No,
going
great.
to hop in the car
That's
and
right.
just drive.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll camp out. We'll get a hotel here and there, but that is the trip. We're going to drive up to Yellowstone,
Yeah.
then over into Washington, into Oregon,
That's it.
down into, Northern California to see the redwoods,
Oh,
and
man.
then travel all the way down Highway 1,
Yep.
what parts we can,
Yep.
into Los Angeles and what is that, San Francisco.
San
We want to see
Francisco.
the Golden Gate Bridge. We
Yeah.
want to go to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles, we're going to go to Las Vegas,
Right.
through Utah into Colorado, and then back home.
You got
And
it.
then we just going to drive. That's all we're going to do.
You've got the route, and when you touch on those cities, you'll really be amazed. But when you pull off on the side of the road on Utah, it's amazing.
I can't wait for Highway 1, man. I want to see that coastline.
Yeah.
I want to see the giant sequoias, the redwoods. I
right.
am dying to see those trees.
Well, and now that you say that, that's one I want to see, the redwoods. I'd like to go to San Francisco because all my days and looking in the magazines, I'd always see the East Bay Dragons. Right.
Okay.
So I'd hope to get to see them, and hopefully I get to see them on their annual. So I've got to find out when that is and get an opportunity to go there, because like us, there are a lot of clubs that started in their 60s and they still running strong.
Yeah.
Man, that's a blessing, and then to know that now you can get out there. 2.5 days will get you to California.
Yeah.
And then if you got 7 days, you can actually go around and get back. So
I've got about 10.
yeah, it takes 10 good ones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it depends on whether you have that at work to take off. So a lot of times I didn't, so I'd run it in 6 and try to make it back home.
Yeah. I'm on my way.
I'm
I
on my
promise.
way.
I'm coming.
You already know. That's my saying.
I'm a
That's
little
my-
late. I stopped by to look at the world's largest ball of yarn. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. I'm sorry. I had to go. And that was like Wall Drugs
Yeah.
in South Dakota. I seen it on Channel 18 News.
Yeah, just a
and-
little
and-
drugstore. They got like a soda fountain and stuff
Yeah,
in there.
it said the world's coldest ice water, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me stop and see that. And then when you're going out through Arizona, there's another spot you pull into, and they got a museum in there. And like you said, it's those little spots that you just want to hit. Four Corners, where the four states meet.
Yeah.
Diddy and them went to that. They stopped it there one year and took pictures there. But yes, there's a few things. And another one, if you come back 80 and you come back through Oregon, if y'all drive back through Oregon and go to Salt Lake City, when you look out to the right side of the road, you'll see the sky is really bright blue. And then for some reason, you see the lake. Looks like it's connected to the clouds as you ride through it.
Just infinity.
It just goes up.
Yeah.
And it looks like it goes onto the clouds. Now, that's one thing I've never seen look like that before. When you get to when you get to California, I went to Hermosa Beach. It's down the street from Rare Breeds Clubhouse, and it was the prettiest blue that I had ever seen.
As I was a little younger, I thought, I wanted this and wanted that.
Right.
Like material things is
Right.
What I wanted. I've got a little small house now, man. It's nothing fancy. I just want to travel. I want to I want to have life experiences. I want to see things.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm dying to, to just travel, man.
Pick up 48 states.
Yeah.
Pick up 48 states.
I've got about 18 now.
Get your patch.
Yeah.
I don't care what you put it on, whether you're riding or driving.
Yeah.
And just fill them in, right? And each year that you do it, pick a different thing to see.
Yeah.
And I promise you, you'll never be disappointed. But yeah, to have me on, I greatly appreciate you today.
It's been good. I like talking to people, enjoying stories, stuff.
So as you touch base on them, get one of them King Cobras over here.
Yeah.
Get Jay or one of the older ones, because they got a lot of history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Been in Lexington a long time.
Oh yes, they have, and you got to understand they were serving the community. With the dances they have, when we would go on Fridays, they would have dances every, I think it was the second and fourth Friday at one time, or first and fourth. But what they would do is everybody in East End knew to go over there and just have a good time.
Just hang out.
Right, and everybody was welcome. Because, there was a time that Harley, Dad and them started traditionally Harley, only Harley. That's all you could ride, or BSA.
Right.
And as the Harley went phased out as far as speed, that KZ 900 actually stepped up the game.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the riders came from. Kentucky and the Gunslingers.
Yeah. We went up there. We've been up there before.
Gunslinging is how you set up the motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's what it stood for. Because most of them used to race. Vaughn and most of them, that's what they did. And
I love it, man.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing like pulling up to a clubhouse or something. They 40, 50 people outside. Everybody's got a drink in their hand, getting loud.
Right, we're having a good time.
Smack talking everybody. They just out there, they're doing burnouts and
That's
just
how you
drag
do it.
racing and stuff. It's a blast.
That's how you do it, brother. Where it's going. Sometimes now it's different. It's different for me. Like I said, I came up with old guys.
Yeah.
And that was my blessing. It was good for us then. It's good for us now.
Yeah.
But with the young ones, they're a little different.
Yeah.
A little different.
I like to get rowdy.
Oh yeah, see, and see now it's music. Everybody's doing stereo on their bike.
Yeah.
And honestly, we should pull up and make the contest, because everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
And man, some of them's doing this stuff so big.
Jeff, Jeff Ashcraft, shout out to Lex Make It, guys. They made this wonderful sign right here. Jeff Ashcraft, he works over there. He's got, 10-inch subwoofers, 8s in the top of his bag. Got tweeters, horn tweeters everywhere. That thing, it sounds amazing.
That's right. That's how you roll. And then there's always, same thing, brotherhood, right? Somebody listen to your bike and come over and look at it. Man, how'd you do yours?
Yeah.
Man, I did Ground Zero. Oh, I did Cicada.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was doing a DS18, because there's always a hyper speaker, a hyper amp, right? And you sit down, you share information, you share cards, and everybody sets your stuff up. Same thing with drag racing. Eric Higgins.
I reached out to him. He's supposed to be. He's thinking
Good.
on it. He says he's going to try to come out too. So I'll tell him. Tim said you need to come on out.
Come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out. Because Eric, when we were growing up, he's a couple of classes in front of me, but Eric would race everything.
He's got records.
Oh yeah, he'd race the lawnmower.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, is there anything you want to tell our listeners? Anything you've picked up along the way? Something you've learned, a hardship, some advice you've got for some of our listeners before we part ways today?
Well, biggest thing is, again, talk to people. If you're visiting somewhere, make sure you talk to an officer. If you're going to a dance, like we're saying, just reiterating the things that we said, call the president. Tell them you're coming. They'll be looking forward to you. And also, if you're traveling, whether car or motorcycle, be safe traveling. Always use bigger stations and always look into the camera. That's going to be the blessing. And may God bless each one of you that's riding. And we'll see you in the bluegrass.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much, brother.
One more thing before we go. When was your party? You want to tell everybody when your guys' party was?
We usually do the first weekend in June, and we usually do a camp out, right? So we come in on Friday. Campers are welcome. We have music and events that evening, as well as Saturday. We're out all Saturday, and we'll have a dance that Saturday evening. But it's been a lot of years that we've been doing it, and I'd always tell people, family are welcome, and all clubs are welcome.
Okay.
But like I tell everybody else, family's there, right?
Okay. And then how can we reach out to you to get in contact with you to get some tickets to this show or some directions or more information?
Usually you can catch me on at Facebook. That's usually the best way to catch me.
Okay.
Or you can instant message me.
Okay.
And that's usually the best way to catch me.
All right.
I'm always watching it or monitoring it.
Yeah.
Or we do have a Lexington Barons page. So please just bounce on that, and we'll get back with you.
All right.
Yeah. And again, like I said, if we can assist you anyway, and while you're here, just let us know.
All right.
All right.
Again, Tim, thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you, brother.
It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
for having
It's
me.
always nice to see you.
Always a blessing.
All right,
Yes,
guys.
sir.
We'll see y'all.
Thank you.